Full time at London Stadium. West Ham 1, Arsenal 2. Deserved something from that, Kieran, didn't we?
What's that, mate?
We deserve something from that, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm sick of it now, Jake, of playing Arsenal, playing well to a point, and not getting nothing from the game.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it for the last few years now. It's doing my head in. And I think it was 2019 the last time we beat them, and it was Rice scored the winner.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really getting annoying. I thought we got scrappy though in the second half, but in that first half, mate, I thought we were a better team.
Yeah.
And the Rice header where he saved Ramsdale, good save. But I thought we were in it, and to concede from a set piece was so disappointing, wasn't it? Yeah. They scored 2 goals, both came from set pieces, really, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah, there was one difference, and one reason why we lost that game is I think because Craig Dawson wasn't in defence. I think if Craig Dawson stands in the middle of that box, I think both of those goals are avoided, and I think that's that, and it's just incredibly frustrating. Before we get into it, just any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Dawson was a miss, didn't he? And that showed, didn't it? We don't concede that many from set pieces.
No.
And plus, you didn't have Souček in there defending set pieces, and you didn't have Dawson. And Dawson's a massive part of that. And I think it showed. We lost by 2 set pieces. Yeah. So disappointing.
100%. Right. When the lineup came out, then what did you make of it? Plenty of changes in there.
Yeah, I expected all the changes. I didn't expect Zouma to start. I would have definitely thought he wouldn't have started. Especially when he seemed to hurt his ankle a little bit at the end of the what's the name game, the Frankfurt game. So I thought he'd definitely rest him, but he played him, so it mustn't have been an issue. It's about all I expected. I thought putting Fredericks on the left was good. I thought he had a good game. I thought Fredericks done well. To be playing on the left side too. I thought he had a reasonably good game. Soufal made a difference. Soufal in that first half, and I think that sort of nullified us a bit in the second half. They seemed to drag Martinelli back because Soufal was our best attacking option coming down that right and swinging balls in. Yeah. And he was getting crosses in, like Johnson wasn't the other day. He was swinging balls into the box, but they seemed to double up on him a little bit with Martinelli in the second half, and we seemed to lose that.
Yeah, I think overall the first half we definitely deserved to go in level, and when we conceded with 5 or 6 minutes left, I thought that's hard done by, but we got everything we deserved when we scored.
Yeah, we did. We didn't deserve to be losing that game at all because there weren't much of a threat. But they did step it up once we come out in the second half. They stepped it up a little bit, Arsenal. And unfortunately, we gave them the second. It was really disappointing.
Yeah. The second, I mean, do you lay blame on Fabianski there? I think it's harsh too. It wasn't too far out. It came off his knee, and on another day it would have rebounded out, and it went in the side netting.
Yeah, it's easy to look at that in slow motion and say, oh yeah, he should have done better. But a lot of people don't realise the power that header's coming in at you. It's coming out of your feet. It's hard to react. You just put your body there. And the direction of the header was straight at his knee. And it's really hard to react to that. He's so close to him. He's only about 3 yards out. Yeah. And, sometimes you save it, might hit your knee and go out. But it didn't. It hit the top of his knee and flew into the net.
Yeah.
But you can't. The blame lays on we should have defended it better. And we didn't.
Oh, we do, 100%, 100%. The way I look at it is that I'm incredibly frustrated because we deserved a point from that game. That was a draw, that game, and there's no doubting it. I think we deserved a point from it. On another day, that Rice header goes in. On another day, we've got Dawson there, and we don't concede those 2 goals. It is what it is.
Yeah, that could have been the big difference having Dawson in the back, but we'll never know now. But I did think we looked ragged in the last half hour.
Yeah,
we didn't pose much of a threat in that last half hour where this is where we needed to. But they looked quite happy, Arsenal sitting back, and I think that's something they've got with Arteta at the moment. They're not necessarily want all the possession. They're quite happy sitting back and counter attack, and they were doing that reasonably well. Nketiah, once we start pushing with the goal, he had 2 or 3 chances to pull up and made Fabianski pull off a couple of saves from it. If he'd been more clinical, it could have been worse, but he wasn't. But yeah, lacked a bit of a cutting edge in the last half hour. That's the only disappointment I got on it. I thought before that, I thought we played well enough to get something out of that game.
Hammerhead says here, what was we all expecting, really? I don't know, but especially for that first half, let's talk about Arsenal, because I thought they were ordinary at best, especially in that first half. They were incredibly ordinary. They were gettable. To be fair, I think it was at both sides. Both sides' defences were a little bit vulnerable, and at the end of the day, I think perhaps we could have capitalised on them a bit more, but they were ordinary in the first half, Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, you'd look at that team and you wouldn't say, mate, there's a top 4 team, would you? They looked fairly average. We matched them in the first half completely. I didn't see anything to be scared of. I thought they were a little bit better in the second half. And I think the difference I think they had in the attacking third was their pace. Their pace with Saka and Nketiah and Martinelli. They were quicker than us. And that's about all. They weren't that great, but they did have a bit more pace. I thought Noble done pretty well in the game. I wouldn't knock him at all. I thought he had a good game. When he had the ball and we had the ball, he was there, always available for the ball. Made in some good tackles. It was one of them. Once they got their noses in front, we seemed to lose our way a bit. That decision by that referee to book Bowen, I watched the replay. I was going. I'm trying not to swear here because it threw my head in. That was a reckless challenge by Ramsdale, right? Regardless whether he catches him or not, to avoid him, that was reckless. He was trying to take the ball and player out of the game, right? And he didn't quite get him, but he was trying to. And to book Bowen for that is ridiculous. I mean, it's absolutely mental.
But even when you put these together, I mean, I don't think it was, after watching it back, I don't think it was a red card. But Soufal won the ball in that challenge back in December. Let's not forget. He didn't get pretty much anywhere near the ball and took the man down. I mean, it's just it's frustrating. Anyway, let's get our next guest on. Lawrence, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Jake? Hey, Geezer, how you doing, buddy?
All right, Lawrence, how are you?
I kind of frustrated with the match. I thought we started the first part. I felt confident. We were out of our element. They were sitting back, letting us attack. So we seemed like we had the positive going forward and stuff like that. Second half, it kind of disappeared. Sorry, I missed the beginning of it. I'm very disappointed in that second goal there. It went off Fab's knee. I thought he should have saved that one, but nobody was checking the guy. So just frustrated because for me, I guess, people can say, hey, this game didn't mean much, got to concentrate on Frankfurt. But also, I think sometimes you got to get back into the winning form, no matter what. You know what I mean? And that's why I really wanted today's match. I really did, or at least the draw at the end. But just a little disappointed.
Yeah. Let's bring Budgie in as well. Budgie, what do you make of it?
Well, I was pretty disappointed with it, to be honest with you. I thought the first half was much better than the second half, but we weren't really at the races in the second half. It just fell apart for me. And somebody mentioned in Charlie's watch along that we got worse after the substitutions.
We did, yeah.
And I thought we did,
I think
didn't get any better, Budge, that's for sure.
No, mate.
Yeah. I think, Kieran, we made the subs and pretty much from the hour mark until the end, it kind of fizzled out into nothing. I know the time wasting and all their antics at the end didn't help that, but I mean, we didn't look like we scored another hours of football there at the end.
No, as I say, we got very ragged in that last half hour. We got involved with silly altercations, and I'm surprised that Rice did and Cresswell, because that suited Arsenal. They wanted to disrupt the game. They wanted to slow it down. They wanted to make it messy, and we allowed them to do that. And like I said, when they doubled up on Soufal on that right, that was our best attacking threat down the right. And once they doubled up, he had to keep checking back and passing the ball backwards. So that was sort of nullified. Then Rama was nullified on the left for most of the game because that Tomiyasu would really had him. He probably got past him once, maybe twice, but he's quite a good right back, that Tomiyasu, and he sort of had the pace of Benrahma. And like I said, Benrahma to me is not a typical winger that's going to get to the byline and beat players. He always seems to need to check back on his right foot. So we didn't really have that attacking threat on the left. So then we've got to try and go through the middle. And our passing weren't good enough. No. It weren't precise enough. It weren't incisive enough. So we really were, treading water in that last half hour.
Yeah.
I think, Lawrence, when you look at it, it's we did in the last half hour just sizzle out, but we protected players today. We protected Antonio, which was key. I thought we protected him. He played half hour at the end. Throughout the game, when you look at it, it's difficult because throughout the game, Bowen up front, it just wasn't the presence of Antonio up there, was it? And that's why things just were coming back at us. We weren't effective in that final third.
Yeah, and I think after watching Antonio being out, I guess what I see the most was for Antonio, I like to talk about his presence of bringing the ball up center. Even though he's a striker, he does do some great passes to the center, and that was kind of lacking today. I just think in general, our attack itself, finishing, I always call it, is really difficult for us right now. And it's not just today. It's been several games where we'll get down there, but when we get around the box or finishing up, I've said about Benrahma, I thought he had a decent match today, but he gets manhandled a lot on him. Those cornerbacks that are bigger than him, they push him around. You know what I mean? And I don't know if we need a bigger forward striker like a Haller. He wasn't in body form. You know what I mean? That's done that. And Tony can do it slow at the bottom, but he shuffles his feet. I just think this has been a problem we've had this match, but even in the last several. And it shows glowingly where we need to really get a striker or some really good attackers that can make a difference in the box or around it.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree.
Yeah, I think Budgie, Bowen didn't do a bad job, but you know what he's going to bring up front, don't you? And it's not what we want, to be fair.
No, the thing is, I didn't like the fact that he was being played out of position. In my opinion, he should be out on that right wing, and that's where he should stay. And like by bringing him into the centre like they did after the substitutions, etc. Just didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me.
Mm. But do you see why Moyes did it?
Yeah. I can see it, but it doesn't mean I agree with it, Jake. I feel that sometimes he makes decisions that are questionable. Although who are we to question him? He gets paid handsomely for the job he does, so he's obviously very good at it. But as fans, we do kind of second guess decisions that he makes, and today his decision didn't work. On another day it may very well have done. Against a different opposition.
Yeah, exactly. But one thing Bowen did do well today, Kieran, was he took his goal incredibly well on the turn, bang, straight into that bottom corner. Superb 10th goal in the Premier League this season. Very good.
Yeah, again, this is Moyes will probably feel vindicated in the first half that he put Bowen up there because he done the job, didn't he? It was it was the Soufal down the right. He bangs the ball into him, and good first touch, and then bang, gets a little deflection, takes in the corner, but he scored the goal. And this is the problem we had. Yes, he's better on the right, but he was moving over to the right quite a bit. But what happened in the second half, when they stopped Soufal, it sort of nullified Bowen as well, because he weren't receiving the ball now from Soufal or interacting with him as much or doing 1-2s because they were making sure that Soufal was stopped coming, marauding down the right and putting balls in. So he done a job, mate. When we were getting desperate and started hitting big balls into the box, well, Bowen's pointless. He's not going to jump, Xhaka and Gabriel. So, this is what, we couldn't get down the flanks. So we were banging balls over the top and they were defending them quite easily.
Yeah. I think that's fair, to be fair. Let's take some more of your comments. Hammerhead says, I hear whispers Oggy is close to a return. That's why we rest Zuma. Said Diop was back on the bench today as well, which is a positive. Arsenal did employ some dirty tactics today. They did, when that's football, but it's just frustrating watching it. And I was just shouting at Rice, calm down, because honestly I thought Rice was going to swing for Nketiah at one stage, because you could tell he was getting so
getting wound up, wasn't it, mate? Yeah. Look, you got to remember this was so important. I mean, it was important to us to try and get a point, but it was so important for Arsenal to get 3 points, because they've got a North London derby coming up, which could decide 4th place. Now they're going into it 3 points in front of them, and maybe winning there. If they win against Leeds, they probably can afford a draw now against Tottenham and still get top 4. So it was massive for them. So once they got in front, yes, they were going to slow it down. Yes, they were going to play dirty. Yes, they were going to try and disrupt the game. That's what they do when you want to be in the top 4. They all do it, and it is frustrating.
Arsenal are actually 2 points ahead, Kieran.
2 now, is it, mate? Yeah. And if they could be 5 points if they beat Leeds next week, and maybe back to 2. But they got a much better goal than Tottenham. Yeah. But for them, if they draw against Tottenham with their goal difference, they'll probably still see them into the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's if Tottenham win all their games.
Yeah, I'm sitting with someone who said that Tottenham's goal difference is much better than Arsenal's.
Yeah.
They've
been. If it came to the goal difference, Tottenham would be above them.
Yeah, the last month Tottenham's putting up some big numbers. They're scoring a lot of goals when they score. When they play, when they get hot on a game, they score some points.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they do. And I think it's definitely going to come down to that North London derby. The games at Spurs, I think, the big top 4 decider. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Spurs at Anfield next. Sean says West Ham are getting to the stage of getting to the stage of oppositions, and how their fans will fall. If you defend the long balls / corners, etc., you'll have a good chance to beat West Ham. To be fair, you say that, but over the last few weeks, our corners and set pieces have been
average.
Yeah.
Our crossing and corners in the last few weeks has been well below par. So really, in the last few weeks, it's not particularly been the case, but it has been, and I see what you mean, Sean. One player that did impress me today, and has impressed me all season. We talked about him on the build-up show. Ryan Fredericks came in today, Budgie. Very good again. I thought he nullified Saka pretty well.
Sorry, I missed most of that because my phone was ringing and I had to cancel it.
That's all right. Ryan Fredericks today. What do you make of him, Budgie?
Do you know what? That was the question I was going to ask you, Jake. I thought he was actually okay down that left side. Yeah. I've got to be honest. I felt that he was. I felt he was focused on what he had to do. You know, he had a point to prove by coming on, from the start this afternoon, and I think he proved it. He's reliable. He didn't really make any howlers. He could have done better on the second goal, the second Arsenal goal.
Yeah.
But nobody shone a light on themselves on that particular event. So, you can't just single out someone like that for, but I felt that he played well. I mean, he's not a player I'm not a supporter of getting rid of him, is what I'm saying, I suppose. I'd rather we kept him. He knows to set up. He's got team ethic. You know, he's got all the right attributes to be a West Ham player. You know,
Yeah.
he needs more game
I mean, he's a great
time.
backup, Budgie. He's a good backup to have, mate.
Yeah,
And
and
he
I
proved
think
it
if he
today.
had more game time, I think we would probably change that about him as well. You know, I think if he had more game time, if he had more match fitness and match sharpness, I think maybe he would be a player that we would be able to rely on for, you know, quite a lot. You know, especially down that left side. You know, if he performed well on that left today, I felt. You know, I thought he'd done really well.
Yeah,
he did.
we've got a habit of our right backs playing better on the left, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally. But at the end of the day, what Sean says is here. That's why you've lost nearly every game. We didn't lose today's game because we had poor set pieces and they were stopped.
No.
It's because we were defensively poor and we had Creswell as the centre back and not Dawson. That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's why we lost today.
And not only that, Jake, if you think about our tall timber, Souček, Dawson, not there. And Souček, Dawson, not in the back to defend corners. That's a big difference, man.
Yeah.
And attacking wise too, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set pieces have won us a lot of games this year, but they've lost it for us today. But Mark, I tell you what, Mark Noble, and I thought I'll speak very highly of him today. And Lawrence, I'll come to you. I thought he was excellent. I thought he definitely rolled back the years in terms of he was getting stuck in the tackles. Pretty much every one of his tackles was clean. Yeah, he had to be pulled off on the 60th or 70th minute, whatever it was. But I thought he was very good today in the middle of midfield.
Yeah. I was very pleased to see him out there.
Yeah, I mean, we had a pretty successful corner at half time, didn't we?
Yeah. But I think Lawrence with Noble, I think he played better than what Souček's played in the last few weeks, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the passion because he knows his career's coming to the end. So he may have put a little bit more. It's not effort, but just your adrenaline for knowing how big the stage is. Because we have one more match at home, so this could. I'm sure we're going to see him again on the final match. But he knows how close it is. I thought he did really well, and I think we did two things, at least by him. Three things. I'm glad he came out because he's coming to the end of his career, and I love to see him out there. Two, we rest Souček a little bit, so we're ready for Thursday. You know what I mean? So I was pleased with him. I was glad to see him out there. I predicted I was a little off. I thought he would come off about the 65th minute or something. I think he came up about 70. But he did what he had. He did what he had to do, and Souček only had to play 15 minutes. He'll be fresh for Thursday. So I thought it was good.
Well, exactly. James, hopefully, hi guys. Sorry I'm late. I've got an excuse. And come on you Irons. Yeah, I thought Kieran that Noble was better than what Souček's been in the last few weeks. Souček's dawdled his way around, and I thought Noble came with a bit of passion, a bit of energy. 34, 35 years old. I thought he was very good today, Noble, Kieran.
No, I thought he was very good, especially like I say when we had the ball, because his passing ability is so much better than Souček's.
Yeah.
He was, for sure, yeah.
And it showed. It showed because every time he gets the ball, if you ever watch Noble when he receives the ball, his first touch pushes it out of his feet and he's looking for a pass straight away. And he's kind of push it out to the right, put it into the middle. He's always thinking about that pass before he receives the ball. And Souček, if you ever watch Souček, he's sort of indecisive before the ball even comes to him. He's not sure. He looks clumsy.
I think his first choice is to run with the ball, isn't it?
Yeah. To get it out of his feet and go in the direction or pass in the direction he's facing. Where, like I say, Souček receives it and he looks clumsy. And he's not, and he has to look up to then decide what he's going to do with it. And Noble's good at that. He's got a quick brain and a good passing ability. And like I say, it's only his age and his pace that lets him down there. He's still a bloody good player. It's just sometimes you can get found out with that pace. But well, as you said, Jakey, Souček's been no better than that, at all, because he's not the quickest either. So, but he does put in battling hard performances, Souček, and he does give you that threat going forward when Noble wouldn't. It's one of
And
them,
a
you
little
know?
bit of surety in defence and like set pieces, as you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Right, then let's move on to some final thoughts because we're going to be back. I'll be back with Sean and Josh on the Premier League Roundup show at 7:30. So, Budgie, give us your final thoughts then.
Well, you know, I said on the pre-match show that I felt that Noble's midfield bossing and his passing and stuff was going to be key, and you know, it kind of was today. You know, I'm just disappointed that, you know, we didn't get a point out of the game. I felt we kind of could have got that. We didn't deserve it, I don't think, but I think we could have got it. But yeah, all in all, a disappointing performance overall. Bring on Thursday.
Yeah, fair enough. Lawrence?
Yeah, I thought we let one get away, at least a point. I really thought the first half it was good. Like I told you at the beginning, I really wanted today's match, the 3 points. Not getting one was disappointing on really 2 set pieces or whatever with the headers and all there as a lack that. So it kind of bit us because everything else I thought we played well defensively. So a lot of good come of it, and hopefully we can turn it around on Thursday. But let's go.
Yeah. Kieran?
Yeah, after half time, I thought, you know, the minimum we deserved was a point. I'd say in the second half, they probably edged it because there was only one goalkeeper working, wasn't there? And it was ours. We never really threatened Ramsdale in the second half, you know, even all the possession. I'd say we had a lot more possession than they did in the second half, I guess. But we didn't. Again, we didn't threaten the keeper. They sort of nullified us on the flanks, and we didn't really have any answers then. So they probably edged it, and I think Arsenal supporters, I think they deserved the 3 points. But on another day, we could have got a draw. But the last half hour was telling that we were a bit ragged and didn't really offer no threat. And it was a bit like Chelsea. I thought we deserved a point against Chelsea. We didn't get it. Whether we deserved a point today or not, we didn't get it. And it's becoming a theme after European games, isn't it? I don't remember us winning one after a European game lately. So, you know, it is costing us in the league, Europe, but that's what you're in it for.
It is becoming a theme, but over the last couple of weeks, I think we've deserved something. And, you know, it shoulda, woulda, coulda for this Sunday and last Sunday. I think we deserve points, but we're not getting them, and that's just the frustrating part about it. The reason we lost today was because we didn't have Dawson in there. If I'm honest with you,
2 set pieces, mate. I mean, you got to remember, we created more chances, goal scoring chances against Frankfurt than we did today, and we still lost.
That's crazy.
But that's life, mate. If not, we'll forgive them completely if we turn it around on Thursday and bang 3 or 4 in, wouldn't we?
Well,
exactly. I'll take that.
Yeah, certainly. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching the match review. West Ham 1, Arsenal 2. I'll be back in 35 minutes with Sean and Josh for the roundup show. Budgie, Lawrence, Kieran, thank you very much for coming on.
No problem, mate.
Cheers, mate.
From us, come on your irons. We'll be back better than ever, hopefully on Thursday. I will catch you soon. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
See you, boys.